Welcome, everybody, to the American Space Museum. I'm Mark Marquette, and we're here to stay curious with one of my best stay curious friends, Carleton Bailie. Hello there.
Hello, hello. Always a pleasure to be here.
Well, Carleton, you've not missed many shows being on the other side as one of our stay curious loyal watchers out there. But and you've done almost a dozen of these shows, I'd say, by now.
Yeah.
And what a beautiful cat riding a dinosaur shirt that you have on today. That's a nice one there.
It's a new one for the shows.
That's right. And as we're looking at the SRBs on this beautiful backdrop here, we've got, yeah, go ahead, Gary. Gary stuck his head in there. Is everything okay?
We're just making sure you're on.
Oh, is it on out there?
No, not yet.
Okay, we're going to make sure we're on. Yeah, we're live. It just popped up there. And a little discombobulated because I'm without my partner, Marty. Marty is on a family business, but he is running the show remotely. You can say hi, Marty. I have him on the phone. All right. Okay, good. We got Mark Usiak says, hey, CB, what's up?
Just getting ready for your brother.
And Bob Mayran says, hello, all. Where do you live, Bob? I've not looked you up yet. You're one of our new family members here. Lisa Marie Leahy is saying hello from Tampa. Well, thank you, Lisa Marie. And Patricia Williams. You brought Patricia on board with us today.
And Lisa.
I thought Patricia forgot about me.
Yeah,
all right.
I'm bringing the ladies.
Hola,
with me today.
hola, amigos, hola, amigos. Okay. Patricia, and of course Steve Jokums is there, and Doug Forrest says hello from California. Tom Celentano up there in Connecticut. Julie Clay, and thank you, Julie, and Connie McDaniel. She's out there looking around somewhere, isn't she? You got to meet her today again, or see her again today.
Yeah.
All right. She doesn't give you a big a hug as she does the mustachioed man, Terry White.
Well, she knows I got a crush on.
And Mark Thel, one of our new loyal followers there. Hello again, Mark. Thank you that you're staying curious. And we've got a show today where CB went as part of the Artemis tour at Kennedy Space Center, seeing the situation in the VAB with Artemis. And as you're saying about that last Friday, say a few words about that. And I'm going to get up and move the camera around to our friends from the Netherlands, Rob Mecklenburg and Jacques Unon, whose name I don't say very well. But Jacques, there you guys are. All right. Great to see you. Jacques on the left, Rob's on the right.
Yeah, hello.
And, you how many launches have you guys seen in your life?
Around 30.
30 from the Netherlands. What town in the Netherlands?
I'm from Utrecht. Utrecht.
Okay.
I live in the southern part of the Netherlands.
Uh-huh. Okay,
And,
great.
I think around 34, 35 launches.
Wow, excellent, excellent. And they're also rocket photography. Well, guys, thanks for being on today.
Yeah. Nice to see you. And nice to
We're
meet
always
you.
nice to see you.
Yeah.
Those of you that never been to the American Space Museum or met me or get what we do, this is what we're all about. These gentlemen are as passionate as you are watching us today. They love our museum. And Rob and Jacques, I've met you guys 6 or 7 times now. And in the
Always
7 years I've been here, your family, and we love you here.
Yeah.
Jacques does patches for
Soyuz
ESA
flights.
and Soyuz flights. Do you do ESA also?
Sometimes, yes.
But Soyuz flights you do patches like
The crew patches they
okay.
have on the so-called suits, the launch suits.
And we have some of those on display here at the American Space Museum.
Yep.
And proudly that. And Rob, you're retired from where?
ASML, the big company, make chip machines.
Oh, that's right. You made chip machines that make the computer chips.
Yeah, and the US.
So you are really smarter than you look, Rob.
Okay, thank you. That's the last time I'm here.
Well, Carleton says you look like Mel Gibson.
No, it's my father.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
We'll get big wave, guys.
Yeah.
Our favorite Dutch boys there. I put a picture of them. They
Next
came
time.
in last
Yeah.
week while we were doing some And let me see if I can get this straight here. Marty, thank you. You took off the banner on the top, I see. And now, Rob,
Okay.
you handle that a little bit there. And go down just a little bit there and tighten it up by swinging it to the right. There you go. Marty,
Okay.
good work there on the banner too. And Julie says, "Hi there, Dutch boys." She met you guys watching. Yeah, that's perfect. And Mark UCX says, "You told John Tilco to stop by. He's up at the visitor center today. He's just back from Starbase." Oh, well, John should abide you, but we're pretty crowded today. But we're fixing to move our studio in my office next door where I'll have more room and it'll be more like a Dick Cavett feel. You
Right.
remember Dick Cavett, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's play a little Dick Cavett here
We can get a sofa
with
for the
Carleton
guests.
Bailie. Carleton, first tell everybody where you grew up and in a real thumbnail, and I'm timing you, where you grew up and how you got in this photography rocket business.
Well, I lived in Virginia, I lived in Ohio, and I've lived in Florida, but I never grew up. And that's my big problem. But I got into the space business and the photography in totally different ways. I got into the space before the Mercury astronauts. I was following them and writing little stories for second grade newsletters about the Mercury astronauts. When I started working with animals and in wildlife preserves, I would carry a camera around with me and honed my early photo days. So between the animals and the space, we ended up back in Florida working at SeaWorld. And then I got into 51L was the first launch that I saw as a press person.
Imagine that his first launch was the Challenger tragedy, and then the UCX played a big part in your career at that
right
point.
in between Challenger and the STS-26 reflight, I got to know Tom and MarQ, mostly Tom. And in fact, I've been cleaning up and I'm finding all these old faxes between Tom and I from back in the 80s, and that's how
Faxes, wow.
Faxes, yeah.
Google that if you're under 30.
And I would send him up pictures, and I would take pictures. Got to know them, and the first time I physically met Tom was at the White House, the day they handed out the president of the Warren Commission, the Rogers Commission report, the first volume from the Challenger accident. And so we've had a really nice career with Tom, and then Tom started branching out with his lab, doing more and more. So MarQ would start coming down, and so now I'm stuck with MarQ.
Who'd you sell your pictures to?
I started off with Countdown Magazine, which was a little thing out of Athens, Ohio, the university there. And
Ohio, yep. Oh, yep.
he was an English professor. Dixon Otto was an English professor there. And somewhere along the line, I sent some pictures on spec into Aviation Week, and they wrote back and said, "We'd like to use one of your pictures." And I'm like, "No, you don't." I couldn't believe that somebody as qualified, as big as Aviation Week wanted to use one of my pictures. So that's how we started working with them back in 1988. The next year in 89, McDonnell Douglas launched a rocket that they needed a Delta II. They needed a picture of the launch, and they couldn't get them from the people they wanted. So they sent them to me. I supplied them with a picture for the BSB, which was the very first commercial launch ever on a spacecraft from America here. And it was a Delta II. And then I worked for McDonnell Douglas, then Boeing.
Thumbnail there. Just
20
just
years.
to give everybody an idea, the magazines employed you. You worked for some contractors.
I shot, Rockwell,
And,
you name it, I did stuff
And
for him.
now he's in semi-retirement, doing it on your own there. He's got a lot of pictures to show the VAB, and we've done many shows about your career. And I didn't load up, but this man is one of the first ones, if not the first, to photograph a rocket silhouetted against the full moon. And we've talked about that before. That was in 2000.
25th anniversary.
25th anniversary of it. And remember the rocket launch?
It was AC-130
communication
It was a
satellite.
DSCS communication satellite for the Navy, I believe.
What was the rocket? A Delta?
Atlas II.
Okay.
And,
Atlas 2. Oh, Atlas 2, the workhorse of the 350 satellites.
And there
About
was a-
350 Atlas 2s are laying in the ocean over there. The
And it
first
was a
stage.
15 or 20-minute delay, and
Yeah.
if it had gone on time, we wouldn't have gotten it.
Right. And a lot of people will be frothing over the full moon rising over the Crew Dragon. You guys have been out there with your remotes. You guys doing remotes, Rob,
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
out there?
Yeah.
So have you already lined up where the moon's going to rise over the thing for the launch?
I hope.
It ought to be
I hope
beautiful
I'm-
there. There's an app for that, Rob. So
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
But I mean, yeah.
Anyway, bragging about Carleton was the first one back right at the beginning of this century that pulled that technique off, and that was something as well as on film. And so anyway, I didn't rack that picture up, but we want everybody to know that Nick Thomas was here yesterday, and Marty, things are rolling smooth if you wanted to go off the phone, but you're welcome to stay on there. Nick Thomas, yep, Nick Thomas and I did a great current events show yesterday. I'm not gonna say great current events because of me; it was because of him talking about it. You watched it,
Yeah.
What do you think the Joe and Jane America Space Geek out there get from Nick Thomas that we take for granted from him?
I think they get to hear the up close and personal history and the individual stories that the astronauts can tell. What you don't, unless you read an autobiography or a book that the astronauts have written, you're not going to find out some of these things. And some of these things probably aren't even written down. They're just kind of word of mouth. And Nick's got a tremendous memory.
Mhm.
And they hear, he's got more stuff. He could do a whole podcast. I'm not going to suggest that because I don't want him to take you away, but Nick can give you the history that like nobody else can.
No, we want someone to take me away.
Oh,
really,
okay.
I've got to. As you all three watched me throw this together today, this is my calmest hour of the day, folks. Believe it. And I've talked to City Council woman today and a Parks and Recreation Board about Spaceview Park, and I had a Flag and Memorial Committee meeting. I thought was today. That's next week, and tomorrow we're gonna have Gabriel Rothblatt and I on to talk about our roles in our 5th month of running this museum, and talked to a Boys and Girls Club about a silent auction gift. I talked to the YMCA about doing my outreach on Steam Comet today. So
How do you even have a voice?
well, I just I enjoy it, but it's. So yeah, busy day, and we're trying to get Emily Carney to do one of these maybe once a week. Welcome you and other people to try to. But when you're help me, and you do by being here, it's basically an easy show for me. Which we're up to like 1,250 episodes, and Marty and I will be looking on March 23rd, our 5th year, and that's incredible. And isn't it, Marty? We can't believe we still talk to each other after all that time. Steve Jokums has got the pun of the week. When I mentioned that we're moving next door gallery to a larger studio, Steve Jokums says, "Good idea. Stay Curious needs more space." All right. Ta-da. And we have a lot of space here with Mecklenburg and Jacques here. But they're not paying attention to us. They're texting their girlfriends or something.
No.
We are listening. We are listening. Very interesting stories.
You got one of the UCACs coming soon. don't you?
And we've got a new member of our family, Woodham, says the more historians, the better. And he's happy the algorithm. He's happy the algorithm suggested you guys. I look forward to seeing more. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I answered an email today about our search engine optimization sucks from somebody that wants to sell us something. And so that means a lot that we are getting out there. So Michael Bruno has got a question to this excellent photographer. How wide is the largest lens you use? Now,
The widest one I've got now that I can use on the digital cameras is a 10 millimeter. It's a 10 to 18 zoom, and I use that primarily for the streak shots when I do those.
So the 10 to
18.
18, and do photographers out there, and there's a bunch of you, is that on a full frame camera or the
No, it's it actually would produce like a 1.5 or so.
15 to
it's
like
around
a 15 to
15 or
something
so.
in there?
Yeah.
As those of you that don't know about cameras, they're the full frame, like a 35 millimeter. They call that full frame. And the first cameras came out, and they were like 3/4 of covering the frame, and that makes your lens actually look bigger. So, Marky Usiak is asking, is Carleton and the Dutch Masters going to the crew walkout?
Yes, we are.
What's the time for that?
I
John.
think around 4 or 5, something like that in the afternoon. Yeah, something like that.
It better be, because the launch is at 7:48.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
better get their butts in there.
Should be around 5:30, something like that.
And it'll be a daylight one, so good lighting instead
Yeah.
of like middle of the night dark.
And how cool is it? They come out the same place that our Apollo astronauts walked out of, right?
Yes.
I've never witnessed it myself, but it's the same.
Nice.
Now called the Neil Armstrong building, not the ONC, but the same. Every astronaut's walked through that threshold, and 17 of them aren't with us anymore to talk about it. The ones that died in the tragedies, of course, there's about 20 that have died now of natural causes. So, Marty, you're doing a good job there, getting Carleton's name up there back and forth. I'm talking in the room to Rob Mecklenburg and Jacques Van Una, Jacques Van
That's
Una.
right, yes.
They are Dutch boys from the Netherlands and friends of the American Space Museum for the past 8 or 9 years. Each of them has attended almost 30 launches, so that's great. So if you got a question about the Netherlands, let us know. I'd have a question, guys. Climate change. So how was your winters this year? Was it
Winters is,
milder than usual
warmer.
or normal?
The winters are getting up warm.
And
No skating anymore.
no skating in
No.
the Netherlands?
Almost
Ice
nothing.
skating?
Ice skating is almost gone.
Outside,
Outside. Inside you can use.
of course.
You
Yeah.
can do it, but the nature ice is gone. Almost gone.
Well, that's something a baby school, a baby boomer
Yeah.
American like me thinks about ice skating, because when I was
Yeah,
in
me too.
Ohio growing up,
Yeah.
we got ice skates every year to go out in
The
the
la-
creeks
yeah.
in
The
the
last time that it was in the 90s. Half.
1990s was. Well, there
Yeah,
you go. There's some
1990s.
evidence that the climate
Yeah.
is changing.
Maybe.
Mark Usiak wants to know from you guys, how many remotes do you guys have set up?
One.
Rob's got one and Jacques got one.
Because
How about you?
We're skipping the remotes this launch
Okay.
and just concentrating from the press site on
Alright.
a couple new ideas.
And the older you get, the more I recommend that, particularly in the hot days. There was a gentleman that passed away last summer. Let's just put it out there we can't say the heat didn't help him.
No,
None. So what was that gentleman's name?
I believe it was John.
John. Carleton I said Mark or Tom will tell us. Anyway, yeah, that's one reason why I don't go out there with a heart condition, because it's hot out there. The hurry up and wait is just not worth it. Go check out Nick Thomas, Google American Space Museum on YouTube. Nick Thomas has done some fabulous shows with us, a great friend of the American Space Museum, and our Master of Ceremonies for Shuttle Fest coming up. And there's only 48 of 125 slots left for Shuttle Fest. So I'm sure it'll sell out, and I'm not worried about that. Happy birthday to Mr. Kurt Brown. And Kurt Brown was born in Elizabethton, North Carolina, 69 years ago. Okay, I didn't bring my bio of him that I do have on my phone, because it's on, but we're not gonna, but there's Kurt. He is the only astronaut to have 6 flights in 7 years, 3 times a pilot, 3 times a commander. Now, he must have got a C+ on all the first 2, because usually you're a
Commander
pilot
after the
twice
first
and then a commander. So he must have just got C's and whatever. I'm teasing, of course. There's always a reason for that. They probably needed a pilot, and he was available. All right.
But
And,
he was the commander for John Glenn, so he would probably give the other 5 up just to be that one.
yeah, and that was taxing too, because we've heard many times that he said, "Hey, there's 6 other astronauts on this flight, not just John Glenn."
Right.
And then, of course, he was on the Hubble upgrade mission, and he is the chairman of the Astronaut Scholarship Foundation, and our good friend, CEO and President Caroline Shoemaker. And so he's a good guy, very involved with the Scholarship Foundation. Was founded by the Mercury astronauts to give money to worthy students for education. They've given out millions of dollars, and one of the greatest organizations in space. And they're also the they do the Hall of Fame, the Astronaut Hall of Fame. That'll be happening the last weekend of May. So Kurt will be running around there. Tom Celentano says he's met Kurt several times, mostly at Astronaut Scholarships Foundation events. And he was STS 85 was his launch. And yes, we do love those astronauts, Woodham. That's what we do, is we celebrate their birthdays. We celebrate shuttle anniversaries of missions, and you'll see that in a minute. Elena has joined us from South Africa. Hello, Elena.
Hello, Elena.
Thank you for joining our party today. And we're going to have a big party on 321 Day. March 21st is 3/2/321. And we had a gentleman named Ozzy Osband who passed away, and he brought the 321 area code to Brevard County when it had to split off to Orlando and give Orlando the 407 25 years ago. So we're sponsoring this event with the National Space Society and our partners. And my executive director, Gabriel, is very involved with that. And I wanted y'all to see the other sponsors there on the bottom there. I glanced at them, that they got a lot of different sponsors going on that are blocked off there. But Titusville Area Chamber of Commerce is part of us. So we want this to be an annual event. It's on a Friday to celebrate celebrate Brevard County's birthday. But it has no birthday. So we're choosing this day. And of course, March 21st is also the first day of spring, or the day before that. And most importantly, to our neck of the woods, kicks off tourism, which is gigantic, of course, here in the land of milk and honey, the land of rockets and Mickey Mouse and Universal. So it's great. We have a lot of fun here, and hope you come to 321 Day if you're local Friday. It'll be right across the street from us at the Welcome Center.
Maybe they'll have a launch like they did last year, or a launch scrub.
Yeah, we actually had a launch during the event for when we dedicated it to Ozzy. It was so perfect. You met Ozzy, didn't
Oh,
you?
many times, many times.
He was a volunteer at Cape Canaveral Space Force. You could find him hanging out at a Radio Shack on any given day. One of those techie, trekkie guys, like we got Don Pettit up at the space station, kind of a MacGyver guy that can do anything with a ball of twine, a safety pin, and a rubber band. So, all right. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about, I'm not going to get so much into this intuitive machine. Wait, what did I have next? There you go. Yeah. Did want to mention the intuitive machines. We're talking a little bit of current events. There it is, flipped over. As Nick said yesterday on the show when I showed him this, he goes, "It's poor thing is on its back, taking its dying breath, looking at the earth, saying, 'Help me, help me.'"
It's turtling.
They got some problems to figure out there for sure. And no judgment on them there. But we're going to give you a little comparison that there's the Intuitive Machines lander, and here that has tipped over twice, and both times on the side where the solar panel was. And I was talking to someone this morning that I said, why didn't they just say, let's put a little solar panel on, like, just on each side that'll just give us enough watts that we can get, something done.
I mean, I'm not an engineer, but it doesn't sound like the center of gravity is the center.
Well, here's the successful. Firefly's blue moon looks like this. Okay. Intuitive Machines looks like this. And I don't care, but I don't like and we've talked about it. I don't think the leg span is out there enough.
That looks
You need a
good,
surveyor spacecraft wingspan out there. And look at this, it's a stubby little thing. And man, have you guys been keeping up with the science that it's doing? It's in Mercurium. You look at the moon tonight, in the upper right-hand corner is an oval, a dark oval C. That's where this is. It's at the 2 o'clock position of the moon in that oval, called Blue Ghost. And there it is looking at the Earth. This is its one of its antennas facing there. And a picture I harvested off of there is what you're looking at is a vacuum cleaner on the moon. Right in here above your head is the intake where it is sucking up regolith to be somehow collected and judged there. There's a drill on this thing and other things going on there. So, and just like, yeah, I kept saying blue moon, I think probably Steve Jokins corrected me. And that's why I told you the 15 things we did today before I sat down here. Blue moon is actually the Blue Origins moon lander that is to be rated a human landing.
Well, the one looks
system.
like it's got much better foot pads, like the Apollo did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do our Dutch guys think?
I think the same as you, that the
See,
landing
that
it's too
doesn't
small
have
and
any
it's,
foot pads.
Yeah.
tipping over because of maybe the weight or the landing legs are not positioned.
Well, they said they made it bottom heavy, you know, of course they would, but you know, we haven't been on the moon for 53 years. And I understand physics and took physics at the Ohio State University. And so we know physics, but then again, do we know physics?
Right.
As the Webb telescope is rewriting ideas about the Big Bang and so forth. So though we know how things topple over in 1/6 gravity, once you're in that 1/6 gravity, are there some anomalies or something going on that makes it go faster or whatever? There's just, but that's a problem to solve there. So, yeah. Blue Ghost. And Blue Ghost, Steve Jokins, you might tell us what that's named after. I know it's named after something significant, and it escapes me at the moment, but it doesn't really matter. But 10 beautiful shuttles of the month of March. This is what we love to celebrate, you newbies, that we love having you on. We talk about all the missions throughout the month. I'll talk about 3 or 4 of them on any given day, particularly close to their launches. But there you've got a big mix of early missions like the landing and only landing that MarQ was at when Columbia landed at White Sands in New Mexico with Jack Lausma, God bless him, at age 89, and Gordon Fullerton, who rests in peace to him. You got a DOD mission there, top secret, STS-29, with our friend Bob Springer. Excuse me, I'm getting over a cold, folks, and I'm going to give it to you. Excuse me. After March 1st, we launched the Hubble upgrade mission. I think the 5th one. Astro 1, a tremendous astronomy mission with Sam Durrance and Ron Parise on there. They passed away, but they were astronomers on there. Our friend in the triangle looking one, 62, that's Andy Allen, whose business aerospace financially supports us. And then you got the shuttle era in there. I mean, the space station building era. But Carleton, on this date in space history, March 11th, 2008, was an important mission to the International Space Station, taking the Japanese Kibo logistics module and Dexter up in space. I don't think I took a picture of Dexter. Dexter's the remote controlled robot outside. So as I like to do, let me tell everybody about the artwork behind this patch. For we celebrate STEAM education, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. Okay. STS 123 continues assembly of the International Space Station. Primary mission objectives include rotating an expedition crew member and installing the first component of the Japanese experiment module, pressurized section, which is called Kibo. And they put the Canadian Special Purpose Dexterous Manipulator, Dexter, up there. The patch represents the space shuttle in orbit, with the crew's names trailing behind. The major additions to the ISS, mainly Kibo, is on the shuttle robotic arm with the Japanese symbol on there, and the fully are illustrated there. Okay, Kibo's in the upper left-hand corner with the Canadian maple leaf on it. The IS is shown as the crew will encounter when they arrive. All right. And artist MarQ Pestana designed the patch, and he's got a big history of that, doing patches. Dominic Pudwell was the commander. Greg Johnson was the pilot, nicknamed Box Johnson. He was in the Gulf War, got injured, back injury, went home. They boxed up his stuff at the barracks, and someone just put Box Johnson on it, and that nickname stuck with him when he got that. Richard Linneman, Robert Benken, Bob Benken then flew on the crew demo 1. Demo 2, I mean. Michael Foreman, we've met Mike a few times. Taco Dow, Garrett Reisman, I've met him a few times, and Leopold Eihartz is on that mission. Dow was the Japanese JAXA astronaut who earlier in his career did a spacewalk with our friend Winston Scott on STS-72, I believe. So, Carleton, tell us about that.
That was crew walkout, where originally they would come out and just walk straight out, get straight into the van and not pose. And then I think it was Pam Milroy maybe that started the, let's stop them out here for a group shot. And they stay there for a couple minutes, let everybody get a group shot, and they kind of wave around. And so then they get in the van once a time. But it's the last time you'd see them before they go into space. So being at the crew walkout, we're fortunate enough to be some of the last few to see them before they leave Earth and go up to the space.
Cool. That's a great shot. You can some fill flash on those faces, I can tell. And yes, a lot of the walkouts I see of you guys, there's so many backs of the heads, and a few people flashing
Learn to
around
take a
there.
ladder.
And of course, we've got the greatest viewers out there. Got my answer, and I couldn't bring it aboard here, but Steve Jokums, Ghost Riders in the Sky is why that's the blue ghost on the moon by Firefly. And Mark Usiak says they have to name the next one Space Ghost, one of his favorite cartoons from the 60s. And Dave Stange says, I know they were limited to the size of the lander legs because of the launch vehicle, but they're both launched in the same type of vehicle. But Dave Stange, 55 years ago, the lunar module of Grumman had legs that were pyrotechnics blasted them out. If you can't use that technology from 50 years ago with magnets or electronics or something like that and have reliability, they're in trouble for sure. So, but good point there, Dave. All right. Night launch. In fact, I'll give you the time of that launch where you're talking about, was that a remote? What was it?
That would be a remote from over Beach Road.
Oh my God. 2:28 a.m.
Well, when I was young, I could handle that.
2:28 a.m. Yeah, when we were young, we just stayed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's the time where you don't know whether to go to sleep and take a cat nap or just stay up and be burned out for 2 days afterwards. Yeah, I've had AP photo assignments like that.
That would be from the press site.
Oh, that's from the press site?
That's from the press site.
Okay, that's like about
It was 800.
1,000. I was gonna say 1,000 millimeters or something. Wow, that's really a good shot from the press side.
Thank you, sir.
And what orbiter was it? Endeavour.
Well, I learned from the UCX. And now, yeah, they don't like to launch into clouds, and this is another one that after you wait and wait and wait and wait, and you see it for about 15 seconds maybe. So it's a hurry up and wait, and that was a streak shot from the press site.
Mm-hmm. Where you streak shot, where you make a streak like a finger paint by leaving the shutter open, and it's a technique takes a little mastery, folks. But hey, it's the best photographers got that. Not the best. You were one of the best. This was a NASA photo I picked up, and you've seen a lot of launches, guys. I mean, I've not seen a shuttle launch. I tried a couple times; they were scrubbed, but I think I'd hold my breath when it went into the cloud like that, because you don't now see anything going on.
No, and it gets louder and louder and louder and louder, and your first instinct is, I hope it's getting louder because the sound is just getting here, and not that it's coming your way.
Yeah. Did a U-turn?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about this in a second, but a great mission, and we've got you guys here. Oh, Marty, I found that button. Okay. Any of the launches of the month of March stick out to you guys? I mean, or the weather or anything? Just
It's the S-45, the first Belgium in space.
45. Yeah, the Atlas mission.
Yes.
Yeah, right. And that was don't tell me. He looks like Harpo Marx. His hair, Fremont, yes. SES-45 there. And you all don't realize, I'm going to do a show on that one. I hope Mikey Haddad wants to, our payload specialist. That is the baseline for the global warming climate change, this atmospheric atlas. The A stands for atmospheric. I didn't pull it all up there. But yeah,
Brian Duffy was on that too, right? Isn't he?
Who?
Brian Duffy?
I'll tell you right now.
Yes.
No, Charlie Bolden was the commander, Brian Duffy the pilot, Kathy Sullivan, Dave Leesma, Mike Foll, Brian Lichtenberg, and Dirk Fremont. And Dirk Fremont probably can't walk the streets of in his country there.
He's very famous, yeah. He even had, there is a miniature Belgium sort of amusement park, and he has a miniature figure standing there, him in his astronaut suit, on the market of Antwerp. So, yeah, that's really fun.
What are some of the cities in Belgium?
Brussels, of course, it's the capital.
Yes, I think.
And then Antwerp is very famous. So.
Okay. And is that a country you guys go to once in a while, or?
It's below the Netherlands. It's our
families.
neighbor country.
I mean, I don't have my geographic.
Yeah,
mind.
some family members of me live there.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go.
Because I always thought it'd be fun to live in Europe,
Oh, yeah.
because it's like, half the United States, and you're bopping around all these other areas that you think are so remote, and all of a sudden you're, in the south of France or something instead of Portugal. There's a lot of Americans thinking about buying a second home in Portugal. There's apparently some good real estate rates and stuff over there. So, yeah, this was the Atmospheric Laboratory for Applications in Science. The Atmospheric Laboratory for Applications in Science, ATLAS. And that was a tremendous mission, obviously. All right, let's talk just a few moments here about why our Dutch friends are here, is because Sonny and Butch are stranded in space, and we need to get them back, Carleton.
Oh no! We've been holding our breath for 8 months now,
Yeah.
9 months.
8-day tour turned into a Gilligan's Island 8-month stay.
That's right. I'm
And,
surprised they didn't have a coup and take over the space station and demand to come home.
We're not making light of it. You all are very smart. You know what's going on. That their spaceship, the Starliner, had some anomalies with its thrusters, even on the launch pad. They shouldn't have launched it. The old timers say. Not my opinion, but shared by some. And they've been up there for 8 months, so they have plenty of food, a change of clothes. There's been 2 cargo ships bring them love from their families, things like that, food they like and so forth. But it's not, and when they sign up as an astronaut, like Nick Thomas said yesterday, you know, they know anything could happen, including the fatality.
Right.
But they're 2 different families, and I think Butch's side of the family, with his 2 daughters and a wife, and those are had some plans. Sonny had plans with her husband and her dogs. They're big animal people, and he's a ranger in Texas, and she doesn't have children, and been in space about 500 days before this mission. She's over 600 days in space. I'll bring you all those statistics Thursday when we do Stay Curious, after we get the Crew 10 up there. So Crew 9 was launched about 3 months ago to bring them back with just 2 astronauts, Nick Hague and a Russian, 2 empty seats. They have suits from SpaceX they're going to put on. They're not going to wear these blue suits. And no, they're not stranded like Joe and Jane America think, though.
Yeah.
What else would they think, though, up in Findlay, Ohio, where I grew up? Because they don't have the access to the knowledge, even the
Right.
daily newspaper and TV knowledge
It's
that we
like,
have.
you know, if you go on vacation and you're not home after 8 months, you've either been kidnapped or
Yeah, you've been kidnapped, or there's a CSI show about it,
Yeah.
right? So,
48 hours.
well, here's the crew that's not going up to save them. This is the crew that's going up to be part of Expedition 73. Expedition 72's up there. A great year and a great number, right, Jacques? 72.
Correct.
Correct, yes.
God, I was already an old man by then.
72 and 53 is another great year to have out there. So,
Yes.
in there. So anyway, go Connie McDaniel would say 57 is a better number. What number you like?
53 is good,
53 is good. Yeah.
but I'd tell the women 73.
Okay. SpaceX Crew 10. That is Anne McClain seated on the left. Her second trip to space. She was part of Expedition, I forget which one, I think she's about Expedition 68, something like that. So she's very experienced in the commander. The young lady on the left is a rookie NASA astronaut, Nicole Ayers. Her first flight, she will add the total to 83 women who've been to space. And then you've got mission specialist, the JAXA astronaut, above Anne there. Takuya Onishi.
That's how I
And I'm sticking to that. His second space flight, not sure when he was up. And Kirill Peskov on the upper left-hand corner is the cosmonaut going up on his first space flight. And if you don't know, this is part of the that was laid out 15 years ago, maybe, the official commercial crew program that always has to have a Russian on board. And though in the news, you wonder, we're not, you know, are we friends? Are we not friends with the big bear Russia and Uncle Sam or what? We're always friends in space. So hot off the press is a t-shirt of crew. Thank you, T-Bones, Rob at T-Bones, expediting this for us. Of course, we have the green screen. These will be sold at Space View Park. And if we've got any left, we will show you what sizes we have left and sell them to you out there at a good fee and shipping. We'll just put it in a, $8 postal if it fits, it ships. A blue one there in the back. Which one do you want, Carleton? Which one do you want to buy, Carleton?
I'll look smaller in the blue, I think.
Blue? Oh yeah. Blue's your color. Yeah. I like the burgundy one. We need to get away from the black and the white all the time.
That looks good on you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
very
you.
good.
All right, appreciate that. But look at that, gorgeous.
Yeah, nice.
And if you follow us on Facebook or you go to Collect Space, Robert Perlman's wonderful publication, Collect Space, This was generated by artificial intelligence, okay, by Nicole Ayers, the pilot. She just threw the elements in there and whipped this out, and everybody liked it. And of course, who doesn't like dragons?
I'd like that's the best
Yeah.
one yet.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing better than a dragon is the king of the monsters.
That's right.
Did you bring him with you?
Oh, yeah, he's
Well,
right
of
here.
course you brought the king of the monsters with you there. Godzilla, of course, in his spacesuit.
His
all
official
right.
NASA spacesuit.
How many launches you think old Fodsy for FOD, foreign object debris, Fodzilla?
The earliest pictures I have him was STS-115.
Oh my gosh.
So that's 15 years.
Yeah. Seen 100 launches maybe,
Right, at
counting
least,
those noisy and light polluting in the sky Starlinks up there. Well, you guys had the privilege to, well, all right, we got, this is the one picture of what, and then we're going to go to the arrival.
Okay.
What's that of?
That is the Orion spacecraft. That is the Orion 2, the spacecraft that is due to fly no later than April of next year. It's got the top half is the capsule itself, and then the inner stage and the bottom half is, I believe, the part that ESA supplies.
Yes.
Yeah.
And,
The
and
Dutch solar panels.
it's got the four.
Dutch solar panels.
Yes, they are made in the Netherlands.
Awesome.
It has 4 solar panels. 2 of them are on this side, 2 on the other side. It's got 23 thrusters or RCS reaction.
Well, we got plenty of time to get in all that
Yeah.
detail before it flies in maybe a year and a half. Okay, so we'll detail that out there, my friend, later. Because we've had a great 50 minutes already with our friends out there.
Yeah.
All right, there is a talk about how many people are around you. I love the picture of I was always the photographer that peeled off to the far right or left and then shot a group shot of all the people, because you don't see were there 20 people there or 100 people
There's
there?
probably 40. Well, there's
Photographers, videographers,
and well, the VIPs and the NASA people probably took it up to 50 or 60.
that's Nicole Ayers.
But these are pictures that I took. They keep us about maybe 30 or 40 feet away from them.
There's Anne McLean. Good picture of her. Good move, Marty, on the banner there. Thank you. There is Takuya, his second flight.
We always try to get headshots, and then
One thing we taught, and there's Janet Petro, the acting NASA director, and she was the, of course, director of Kennedy Space Center the last 3 or 4 years. And 12 years she spent with Bob Cabana as his assistant. And we'd love to get her on Stay Curious, but it's really hard to effort. So sometimes you just cut them loose. We can get astronauts on here, but she's a hard one to get. So
she showed up to greet the astronauts.
but she showed up there. She's I think it shows some bipartisan politics that she was elevated to that right after Nelson was stepped down by the new administration, and because she's obviously part of the Biden administration, and nothing wrong with that. We don't talk politics, we talk about people, and she's so qualified and would actually make a terrific NASA administrator, I'm sure. Group shot. All right, everybody, fold your arms and smile. All right, give me a little off that left shoulder there, Takura there, so we get the good look there.
That Russian does look young.
And there's their names there. They always have a cheesy board out there with their names on it there and the emblem, but that's what you got to do out there. So they didn't come in on T-38s. They came in on a private jet. NASA, that jet
private
behind there.
NASA jet, yeah.
Okay.
And they all come in. They got off with wearing masks. They were in quarantine.
All righty. And the good old buddy shot. And Anne is in the mix to go to the moon. She could be a commander for a moon landing, for example, or something. Very fit the desire of NASA, have the first woman or person of color on the moon. But she's very talented, very well thought of. and now she's very experienced up there. So there's our thrusters. There's our Dutch solar panels there. Jacques, what other is this company do unmanned solar panels and stuff? They're one
solar
of the
panels of Psyche that launched 2 years ago. It's also with the same company as Airbus is making those solar
Okay.
panels.
okay.
And a lot of European satellites, of
All
course.
right,
that,
and
yeah.
so those are the thrusters that are covered up there, huh?
Right, correct.
Very interesting. Nice. You're very close to it. You like using a 300 mil. Oh, you're that close.
We're that close.
So a 300 millimeter lens pops those in there, and that's good detail from a photographer. It's just not getting the big picture, but then, like you said, getting a videographer there. That's a
Shows the
beautiful.
distance we were at.
Yeah, excellent. And where was this location, Carleton?
It was in the Neil Armstrong Operation and Checkouts building, which is also the building that they walk out. They're held in quarantine there, I believe, and then that's the walkout building where they walk out, get into their vehicles, and go out.
Did you see any other Orions being built? I think
Not
there's
so-
3 under assembly.
There's 3 under assembly, but we were told not to look or take anything over to the right, so we sort of like I didn't see anything
Yeah.
that
And you abided, but guess what? It's American taxpayer money. What's the secret? I mean, we're an open society.
and it's probably
Don't get publicity out there, NASA. And that's my opinion.
and it
is
could
this
be
is-
the what they call it, the proprietary information
Right.
and
Well,
export laws.
And do you really think there is any out there? But anyway, there's only a few ways to figure out how to go to space. And don't we want them all to come back safely in there? So that's a beautiful looking machine. Look at the service module there. Of course, the silver part underneath there is a heat shield. Okay, but this is the Artemis that's going to go and fly with the crew. I should have put the crew in there. And that Christina Cook is on there, and who's the American commander? And they're going to wave at the moon from about 3,000 miles away in a big loop. I said, what's this? So this is the NASA Vehicle Assembly Building.
I had never seen that. As many times I've been in there before, I'd never really seen that, but we had to wait to get in. So while I was there, it's not something many people, if I've been out there and never seen it. So I took a picture of it just to prove that or show that it's a National Historical Monument.
Built in 1966, and they dedicated that in 2020. Oh, they dedicated that in January 10th, 2020. And then March 2020, COVID shut down everybody. So there's our backdrop there. What do we, I didn't ask you what our backdrop was there.
Those are the top third of the 2 solid rockets that will have the core vehicle mated in between them. It's basically a shuttle stack without a shuttle on it. So you put a giant external tank, basically, which is the core vehicle, in between those 2, and that's your SLS.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little people there for size.
Yeah.
But
Couple comments I'm picking up, and as we're heading to the home stretch here, and thank you all for watching, was Michael Bruno said that getting back to the Intuitive Machines tipping over, that he says sliding foot pads likely make a difference. Oh yeah, didn't think about that. That the foot pads are sliding in there. Maybe they need more pegs than they do a pad. But of course, the pad was what the Apollo used
like golf shoes.
on there. And Woodham wants to get a moon man that'll set the turtles back upright. Yeah. When everybody like that. How about like a spring, like on a Roadrunner cartoon or something
Send
like
Dexter.
that? Yeah, send Dexter up there to fix it. All right, any of you guys can chime in there. Oh, no glory there.
And then that's the booster.
I
one of
wonder
the-
if that was space flown. That American flag. You'd think why not, but
I'm pretty sure it probably was be hanging in the VAB like that. And then the stall to the left is.
we're never far from our red, white, and blue, Dutch guys. We're always.
I miss the Dutch flag.
Yeah, the next time you need to bring it.
You bring me one.
Yeah.
I miss the Belgian chocolate.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Belgians from Belgium bring us chocolate.
To invite somebody from Belgium.
All right, what's this?
That's a straight. It's just another shot of the two solid motors
Oh, I
down.
see him
Oh,
behind
yeah,
there.
no, oh,
Unfortunately, our viewing was from the other side of the VAB, and we had to shoot through. And this is the core vehicle that is inside all these girders and things. So we didn't get. That's just the fuel line, I think it's called, up that goes around up the side of it.
Looks
And,
bigger than the shuttle. I don't know if it is or not, but substantial.
And I did a lot of research. I have not found out what it is, but you got to remove it before you fly it. It's at the base of the core vehicle. It is below the orange part on the little white with the engines.
Well, that's a cool shot, though. It's got a nice geometry to it, like photographers look for.
And that's just how they connect the fuel lines that go up to the.
Oh, that's on the side of the ET,
Right.
or they call the core,
I
but
guess
to me
you
it's
call this
external
like an
tank.
engineering shot.
And yeah, great engine, but it does have some art appeal to it there, and that's a cool shot. So what's the orange cone there?
That is, it's got a new, it's the Launch Vehicle Stage Adapter, or the LVSA, and that goes between the core and the Orion will stick.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean, because I do see that. It's like the slaw that has the lem in it on the Saturn V.
Right, basically, it's like an interconnection type thing. The
Mhm.
bottom is big enough to stick on top of the core vehicle, and the Orion capsule that's been assembled would fit on the very top of it, and then it all gets rolled out.
Oh, great shot, professional as ever. Oh,
There's-
whoa, I got vertigo looking at that.
Yeah,
baby.
I got
Wait a
vertigo
minute.
taking it. That's your crane that you're always talking about, and that's from the 16th level.
We're talking about it because our museum facilities manager Dan McCune worked that crane or one similar to it during the shuttle era. And yes, you could take that, whatever it is, 150-ton crane, and the other one's 130. I don't quote me on that, but it's
Right.
many, many tons. And you can take it down and have the bottom of the space shuttle hit a paint can and spray the paint, and then you pass the test. That's how they did it. They could also touch an egg and not crack it. Amazing. Of course, you got serious pulleys and stuff like that going on there. Ooh, wow! Look at that shot straight up. A lot of light up there.
Yeah,
Was one of the bay doors open?
behind us. Yeah, the bay door was behind us, and this again is up at the 16th level. So that's really, and this is down at the 5th level.
16th level is where the remains of Columbia are, right?
I believe they're up
Okay.
there.
We go this way.
Now that's from the 5th level, so we're down. It's one level. I mean, it's one floor, but this is the level girders, the walkways that you go to, and this shows the NASA worm on it. This is, well, it's up there. This is the top of the Orion capsule, and the little patch that you see there is the parachute cover. It's the parachute.
Huh. It says CPAS on the patch there.
It's the security cover for the parachutes that come out when they come back and land.
On Orion.
Orion.
That's the Orion.
Correct.
And they're exposed like that?
Well, that's the cover that goes over them, but that
Okay.
would be the parachute right behind it.
There's that picture.
And that's just shows that
The worm.
the worm is going on it.
The worm
The worm.
is on there.
And that's just a wide angle of the checkout building, operation checkout, where
If you've not been in these facilities and had the privilege to, like Carleton and me on a couple occasions, the ventilation systems are just outrageous because you got to have, right?
and
That's what
the
you're saying.
ventilation.
Look at that
Right.
ventilation system.
And usually it's a bright yellow. In fact, it's about this. There's a crane that they use to lift things and lift the Orion capsule on top of that. Usually, a lot of these rooms are actually that color, orange yellow, and trying to correct for it is
Oh.
you just kind of give up.
Well, my point is they can be noisy and the cleanliness and so forth. They're moving a lot of air around through filters and things like
Exactly.
that. People in bunny suits and all. So when I talk to young people, I say, NASA needs janitors. They need security people. They need jobs that you don't think about, or space-related jobs. So.
Right. This was not a clean room, as they call it. But you'd have, if you're up next to it, you'd have to have a bunny suit, but not where we were.
Well, thanks, Carleton. I hadn't seen any more comments of this. This is Dave Stange asking about the lander legs there on there. So
I might have put them.
no, we're getting out there because we got. I see my face up there running around there. So
Yeah.
good job, buddy. Anything else you wanted to add?
No, we've got a launch.
Sit down there, Rob. A minute.
We got a launch tonight, allegedly, supposedly, 2 launches, one from Vandenberg, one from here. On Falcons, we've got the Falcon launch with the Crew 10 tomorrow morning, and we'll go out there tomorrow afternoon. You'll be on air. I'll be sending you updates. I'll send Marty updates. I'll let you guys know what.
We'll be on air till 4:30 tomorrow. Glad you mentioned that. We have a board meeting, and Gabriel Rothblatt and I are going to come on and give you a full report. Well, a little bit before that meeting. It's actually a pre-board meeting. But there's Rob on the right, wave Rob, and Jacques there, our good friends from the Netherlands. So glad you could be part of Stay Curious, all right? Please tell your space friends to like us and watch us and watch us over there. So what time is it now in Amsterdam?
5 hours later.
5
Because
hours later.
You have already summertime.
So it's 10 o'clock.
Yes.
No, wait.
Normally it's 6 hours, but now the
Daylight
US is
savings.
early with summertime.
So it's 11 o'clock now.
Yes.
No, 10.
No.
10 o'clock.
10.
10.
10.
Okay, 10.
Yeah.
That's
and
Five,
now-
well, that'd be
no,
5 hours.
5 hours now. In
Yeah.
3
Okay.
at the end of
Well,
March we get all
we
the
know
summertime.
Robert Law's watching up in Dundee, Scotland. Robert, kudos to you. We're going to see him at Shuttlefest there. So don't see any other comments from anybody here, Marty. Thank you for hanging with us. And I'll be talking to you tomorrow about your arrangements there, but we just plan on having a short show with Gabriel and I so we can hit that 4:30 board meeting. So we're also going to be out selling these shirts if you're local. All right. How much are the shirts, Marty? $20. A $20 bill. And if we have any left, I'll announce it, and a $20 bill plus $10 shipping will get you one, basically, up there, Dave Stange. So, all right, I hope we've not lost our chat. Or I guess I'm not seeing.
Well, Julie Clay used the Dutch flag. So,
Yes.
Okay,
Thank
all
you,
right.
Julie.
Okay.
Thank you, Julie.
Yes, I think my chat runs out
Oh,
here, so
okay.
sorry if we're not getting your comments. Or Carleton, you have anything you'd love to say?
No, I hope I didn't put people to sleep, but that's why we're not seeing any comments. But no, I always, as always, I learn things when I come here, and I hope I can impart a little bit of my knowledge, or my knowledge little bits out to people, and they can reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, and be glad to help them out any kind of questions they've got.
Excellent. Yes, find Carleton Bailie. There you see his name there. Where we got his?
I'm Fodzilla1.
Oh, I can't. Marty, you were changing it. I thought I found the place to change it and didn't. All right. Bailie. So
Facebook, Wombatzilla on Instagram, and Fodzilla on Instagram, and Wombatzilla on Twitter.
all right. Well, thank you all for watching today, and again, thanks to our Dutch friends Jacques and Rob for being here. And I'm going to head out of here and jump in the car and go watch Winston Scott play on his trumpet at the Italian American Club there. They got room for you if you show up there, I'd say. So anyway, the rest of you, we're going to do a little show tomorrow about kind of the State of the Union here at the American Space Museum, but give you all a lot of love too. I'll have a update on what's going on with the launches, and
I'll give you a report from out there.
that's right.
Tom, make sure, Tom Usiak, bring your antihistamines, because I got a new cat.
And Tom Usiak will be here, hopefully with Jim Nyhouse, the godfather of the IMAX camera, on Friday. All right, we're going to try to arrange that. So anyway, thank you all for watching and supporting the American Space Museum. And it's important to us to provide a forum for people like Carleton Bailie, Tom Usiak, photographers like that, people like Nick Thomas, out there at the Space Center, working so hard for 38 years to share space history with you all. And we're providing that forum, and it's important to our outreach at the American Space Museum. So glad that you newbies, Woodham, have found us, and some of you others out there. Come on back and get your Space Geek on, folks, because I'm Mark Marquette, and I can't wait to see you again to bridge the space between us. Thank you all. See you later.
Yay!
All right. Good job.
You guys remember these?
Good job, Marty.
Oh, haha,